What's up, everybody? Today's video, I'm out for a group ride with some of my brothers from the Four Kings Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club, and I thought today would be a good day to give y'all 10 tips on how to have a successful group ride and make sure everybody comes back in one piece. Alright, so let's get out on the road. So tip number one, don't be that guy that shows up to the meet without getting fuel first. That includes fuel for your bike and fuel for yourself. Get you something to drink, something to eat before you show up. You're not that special, princess. There's no reason to have the whole pack pull over because you weren't prepared. Alright, we're taking off from Bill's Corner, getting this right under the road. Alright, now that everybody's in line, let's talk about rule number 2. Make sure you know the hand and arm signals the group is going to be using. Now, I'm not going to go over those in this video, but I'll make another one later. Make sure you know the hand and arm signals for slow down, speed up, need fuel, debris in the road, things like that. It's going to make communication between everybody else in the ride a whole lot easier. So tip number 3, make sure you hold a pre-ride meeting or a safety brief or whatever you want to call it. This is where you're going to discuss everything about the ride, the route that you got planned, your hand and arm signals you plan on using, you know, some other alternative things that may come up, such as, you know, what you need to do if somebody's going to be leaving the ride, what you're going to do if a bike breaks down, do you have somebody to come pick up broke down bikes, what to do in the event of an accident, what to do if you get separated, like at a stoplight in town or something like that. All that stuff should be discussed in your pre-ride meeting, your safety meeting, whatever you call it. So tip number 4, select who's going to be your lead and who's going to be your last bike, your trail, your tail gunner, your sweep, whatever your group decides they like to call it. But your front and your last bike should be your 2 most experienced riders, and your lead bike should definitely know the route, know where he's going, and not get the group lost. Your last rider, tail gunner, sweep, whatever you want to call it, they're going to be responsible for making sure no bike gets left behind on the side of the road and making sure the group stays together as a whole. Basically, they're the herdsmen for your group. So tip number 5, you want to make sure your group rides in a staggered pattern and try to keep everybody in that formation. There are groups that ride side by side or parade style or, you know, something like that, but unless you really know the rider next to you, there's the hand signals. Unless you really know the rider next to you, you probably shouldn't ride stagger with them. Or, sorry, you shouldn't ride side by side with them. It's overall safer for everybody to ride with a stagger. You're gonna at least leave a gap in between you and the rider in front of you. It's big enough for a motorcycle to pass through if it needs to. And you don't want to be directly beside the bike next to you. That way, if something occurs in traffic, or if you need to scoot over, or you have to go single file, you can do so and minimally disrupt the ride. Number 6 is be aware of the other riders in your group. It's more than just you out here. And when you're riding fairly close together, I don't think I need to explain how quickly you can get into a domino effect and a whole lot of people can get involved in that accident. So, not only do you need to be watching the road in front of you and scanning ahead, but you need to be watching the bike in front of you also. And you want to be watching the bike to your side. They should probably be in front of you because you're riding staggered safely, right? But you want to be aware of everything that's going on. Because you don't want to be the one that hits another rider that's in front of you. Also, make sure that you're checking your side mirrors and keeping an eye on the bikes behind you. Often when a group gets separated, the best way to figure that out is for the last rider in the group that gets separated, be looking in his mirrors and noticing there's bikes missing. Also, you can clearly see hand signals and arm signals flowing from the front of our ride to the back. They can go the same way, and if you're not watching your mirrors, then you're not going to be getting those signals. So tip number 7, have a plan for riders that get separated by themselves. You know, stoplights happen, life gets in the way, maybe a bike breaks down. All kinds of things can happen that would cause a motorcyclist to get separated from his group. Just make sure you have a plan for the what ifs. You know, what if it's just a traffic light? You know, no big deal. What if their bike broke down? You're not going to leave them by yourself, right? Or what if, you know, in the worst circumstance, what if that rider went down? You're not going to just ride off and leave, you know, your brother, your friend, your riding buddy. You're not going to leave him back there laying in the middle of the street after an accident, right? Right? just make sure you have a plan for those things. You know, if you're gonna have a bike breakdown, you have a trailer, you're gonna need to call a wrecker. You know, does somebody have a toolkit? Somebody probably should have a toolkit. You know, you're not gonna be swapping jugs on a bike, but you know, tightening up a shift lever or something like that is pretty common. So number 8, what are you gonna do if somebody needs to leave the ride? You know, sometimes these rides get kind of lengthy. Not everybody has the same time frame to be out having a good time that you do. They may need to get home, get supper ready for the kids. You know, may have some kind of work function or trying to catch a ride before work. You just never know. So make sure you have a plan for if somebody needs to duck out. My recommendation would be to have them on the outside of a turn, and when you make a corner, just have them go straight. That's the simplest way. But make sure people know they're leaving, because packs tend to get into the old you know, follow the bike in front of you mentality, and they're just gonna go where the bike in front of them's going. So make sure if everybody in the group knows, you know, so make sure everybody in the group knows if you're going to be peeling off in the middle of the ride. That way you're not leading other people away from the pack. Number 9, and you would think this one should go without saying, but people do weird stuff. Make sure when you're out here riding, you're taking plenty of breaks. You know, not everybody in your riding group may be your age. Like our pack here, you know, we've got some retirees here, and we've got some young pups. I'm sitting about middle ground. But all in all, you know, some of these older guys, they're definitely going to have issues with legs cramping up, you know, back, shoulders hurting from, you know, years of work, manual labor. It's just one of those things. People need to get off the bike and stretch every now and then. I would recommend about once every hour. You know, if you're riding with a group, you can stretch it out a little further if you're by yourself, but at least once an hour with your group. You know, just hop off the bike, relax for about 20 minutes, walk around, get you something to drink, a snack if you need it, whatever you need to keep powering on. Check that out. Bumblebee, live and in person. There's an Optimus on the other part of town. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You don't always know when something's going to go down. I don't know why they were stopped, but we're good to go to keep rolling. It's like they're rolling on the shoulder behind us. Yeah, every now and then, hop off the bike, stretch your legs, refuel your body, rehydrate if you need to, if you don't carry a water bladder or other hydration source. There they go. All right, and tip number 10, which is more for new riders. And there's a caveat to that. So tip number 10 is ride your own ride. I know you've heard this before. I know you've probably heard it echoed throughout your riding community in your local area. I've probably heard other YouTubers say it. I'm sure you've seen it on social media before. But do not ride beyond your ability. We're out here to have fun. We're out here to have a good time. Nobody wants to see anybody else get hurt. Now, the caveat to that, like I said, where I said it was more for new riders. Once you've got some experience, you can kind of push yourself a little bit. But remember, when you're in a pack, it's not just about your safety, it's about everybody's safety. Alright, and the other caveat to that tip, if you have a good leader, a good road captain, whoever the front person is in your ride, they should know everybody's basic experience level or have a rough idea of it and not ride outside of that. Take personal responsibility for yourself. Don't ride outside of your capabilities. But also, if the group separates from you, it's the job of your road captain to go at a pace that everybody can follow. And if he leaves you behind, you have a bad leader. Alright guys, so those are my 10 tips for a safe back ride. There's plenty more things out there, but like I said, this is just 10. It's a list. It is what it is. I got to ram some stuff in. But the goal here is to get out with your friends, your brothers, your riding buddies that you met one time at a gas station, and even your family you've never met before. Get out there, enjoy your ride, enjoy your time out on two wheels, because we only get so many laps around the sun, and you might as well get the most out of it while you're on it. For now guys, I'm going to try to catch a little B-roll, but in the meantime, I'll see y'all out on my next ride.